So starting off then is going to be Cris Cheek. So Cris isn't in the programme, so he doesn't officially exist. But yeah, I think Cris is and yet another important figure who's over from America at the moment, although he is of British. Are you actually English, Cris?
Yeah.
Sure. You are English. English is great. So
am I allowed to say that?
Chris's work goes back a long way, should we say. I first came across Chris's work in relation to Things Not Worth Keeping, which is, we'll talk about that, okay, right? Anyway.
Oh, you can talk about it.
No, sorry, I won't bother now. Yes, Cris was one of those very important figures for us in London construction, and we had at the time we first began to find out about contemporary poetry. And Chris's work was one of the works in performance that was inspiration. Anyway, enough about that. You can sit anywhere you like. Cris Cheek.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to read a lot of things fairly quickly, I think. What can I say? School of London, 1975, as I said to somebody earlier today. Still in the classroom, still don't know very much. Although some of the people who I thought of my peers and masters are here, so it's lovely to be back. I wasn't expecting to be here. I've come back to renew my passport, so it's going to be a bit kind of all over the place in terms of sourcing texts. Amongst doing much more extensive performance pieces over the last few years, I suddenly decided a couple of years ago that I was getting fed up in the evenings and I wanted to do something else, and I started writing very short little pieces. I did about 650 of them in the space of 18 months. I'm now onto a very different project, but I thought I'd take some of this stuff out for a walk and see how it feels. They're short. Many of them have a title, but the title is effectively part of the piece. Usage. Else make up without pretty retweeted, without personnel notes, retweeted without notes, without personal retweeting, personnel doubt, is else bullying me typing retweeted. I can't speak for myself, I can't tweet. I cannot speak of an illness, I cannot speak a chance dogging the title unwoken, else used I make bully negated, retweeted. The future of warfare lies within. A rude chord continuously sounded. Through an unmanned autonomous scout spending days in the comforts of monotony. The future of warfare lies within enlarged maps of pronunciation reported, faxing and copying the target country, performing no work and producing no honey. The future of warfare lies within an escalation unit, blue sky crows, newly minted, sustained, repeated sounds turning predator the candidate birder. The future of warfare lies within a virus-infected cockpit of capabilities shot into the olive by one's affiliates, shot out of the sky by fat data vantage. The future of warfare lies within an overgrown toy, remotely controlled, hovering cloud cover, zeroed on squirrel, butt, waving a tear-stained handkerchief. The future of warfare lies within a serial vehicle of keystrokes performing pre-flight check several times removed from operation. The future of warfare lies within being embedded, born with nightmare, an insurgent lack of empathy, firing a moral black hole at the core. The future of warfare lies within activists occupying an entrance stung by a remote blinking rear-view mirror. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a bee? The future of warfare lies within. Infecting the networks requested to meet needs for a perfect photo op and see beyond fail to exclusivity. The future of warfare lies within, and this is all very reassuring, to blow up the Gorgon stare using putrescent adventure software. The future of warfare lies within a wide-area airborne Sioux surveillance sensor mounted on a General Atomics Reaper to bring home the Papa Bear. The future of warfare lies within the dog day of the stealth Terminator, carrying instant commemoration, packaged by a badass android assassin. The future of warfare lies within warriors who will not quit until killed by putting one's StarCraft skills into play, inducting to the swarm of death. Oh, joystick. The future of warfare lies within invading turf wars in a turn-based flash game, gathering malware from the mothership and retro-pricing every application. The future of warfare lies within Bonjour, Planet Earth, another massacre. Recruits to a growing career field, emote control, murder fed online. The future of warfare lies within drone piloting a transfer to expansion. Check out the trailer via Arcade Bomb for users feeling left out of the fun. The future of warfare lies within. Freedom! Freedom. 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 After Richie Havens. Marvellously disturbed by what he witnesses, thrown into the sea from a dictator farmer with a corpse of bones that modifies, even cannibalizes its genre. Rebuilding a life haunted by the violence committed on behalf of a testimonial agent. An analysis of hearsay hermeneutics, telling stories overheard, second-hand besides anxiety by over-talking, joined to the heart, returning home with you as a witness. Not a collaborator to control the community of narratives and to exploit a critical context for those traditionally silent. Workhouse. Coming to find love, abandoned hope, all entered, I was found wanting. A scent of Marx's kiss. And that our politicians might concur, holding the conservative zombies wanting, characterizing labour through obsession, that dare certainly making heartache return. Out on the lake, a gas cargo, reflecting on the states of liquidity, rolling drums across crushed bodies in the basement of the Dark Delight Club cheered the smell. I run like a wire in the walls of the buildings of the bureaucrats, a kiss that characterizes liberal want isn't the whole of longing, an apparent taste for the political martyr, depicting the sweep of his hopeful extent. Become the dirty dog, become the major wanker, become the angry mob, become the department manager, become the ugly duckling, become the chair, become the sly pornographer, become the elephant in the room, become the heavy drinker, become the serial abuser, become the vindictive hacker, become the bomb maker, become the chief dispatcher, become the gossip miller, become the central banker, become the court jester, become the call center operator, become the administrator, become the personal trainer, become the museum curator, become the serving soldier, become the abject worker, become the corporate janitor, become the great outsourcer, become the appointed reader, become the lost coroner, become the dream editor, become the pureed veg producer, become the city financier, become the persistent spammer, become the empty parlour, become the code breaker, become the best performer, become the delinquent harasser, become the test tube burger, become the Crown's barrister, become the elephant in the room, become the Prime Minister, become the defence solicitor, become the anxious hater, become the fear harbinger, become the derisory adulterer, become the police officer, become the elephant in the room, and so on. The news for Francis Crook. Today I cannot brain. I cannot brain today. I have the dumb. I hold my breath until I burst. My thirst is strong for news. I whacked my thumb. Today I whacked my thumb. I brained myself. I sang my brain until it rang. I wrung the rain to pay my dues. I dumbed myself down, listened to the news. Today the news was whack and out of whack. How's it become the traffic? I watched that traffic float my antic brain till numb. I reined in static hum. Today my breath up in the attic listening to the dead and dragged through boxes of old crackle, read what passes for the news, brain spackle. Today a pox begat me, I was shat out, news in itself I thought. The world as thrown was underwater, I rebrained myself crumb waiter. Today on the first day of the rest et al. I got real bored. I stood about, dear Lord, I came upon a sea of goo. No news, goo equals goo news. Today thawed out flooded endowments, brain smell in storage now, dancing on cake. Late news, I after sunset slept to wipe my slate. A conservative estimate. I experienced my awfully big number as a chronicle of need. I felt my traditional to be artfully restrained. I presented the case for my conservative point. I know one style is too restrained. I darkened, though I thought how dark had made, might, raped, made, might. Case raped, daily numbed, the numbers raped. The end is traditional, wrote small, need. Traditional, traditional, restrained. Traditional, 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 restrained, made, every, daily. Our inner life become an institutional benefit, enshrined in the form of a report on research undertaken, co-managing our dark environs, need-sated behavioural use of the health sets provided, the private thing, a comprehensive plan, compliance on common streets assessed, assistance, the flowers of our tight collective, federated standards enforced across the land, outer world deviations can go post their bans in vain. Walking the minimum services alone, life remedial transport, shot encouragement, out of the cradle, a knowledge of retirement. Quote, if I fall asleep in a public space, am I trespassing? I am no moving, at least not in a big sense. Well, yes, the sense is big, but access, citizenship, voice and area subject to removal through an understanding of sacrifice to clear the text of relocation as docs x, end quote, already exists. Do you want to replace it? A file or folder with the same name already exists in the folder Liberty Plaza is no nearer, consolation. Replacing it will overwrite its current contents. Cancel, replace. You like it when I take the initiative, but you don't like it when I don't take the initiative you want me to take. I find it hard to know what to say when I am asked to explain what I meant when I said I didn't know what I was expected to say. And am abuser, abusing, abuser, forward, and in anybody, abuser, abusing, abuser, forward. Yes, I know. But I had no clue which one you were quoting or riffing off of. Yes, I know. No, oint, perfect. No, oint, point. I love your typos. Your typos leak wisdom. The faucet in my bathroom is a delta, and I turn its run to gushing when I'm brushing my teeth, the bone fishes, and I blush, thinking of how my brushing my teeth in such brash fashion is both further polluting and depleting the environment in which I live and brush my teeth. The behaviours of influence within a capacity of numerous devices have been mounted to detect small movements and the sounds of visitors as they approach a wall. Elements of measured cynicism are identifiable as transformations of influence into agency, prompting a critique of the last images from the final compound. A flying from memory. The consolidation being that when I'm not playing the game, I am still in the game. My character goes on without me. I have multiple lines of open potential. But when I am sleeping and my screens appear to be blank, these multiple lines are still open, large overhangs trying to take advantage of the setting land you're building on, bringing the outside in from memory cut to its quick. Already willing my legs dripped scores from disappointed men. Backwards already my tongue dips, rocking the stage in my mouth again. My lips chilling already quietly defeated the sleeve, massaged the seam, squirting it out onto my breasts, a steady stream of nursing silk that whispered toying poker knelt. I rummaged through my bloody purse and dealt the cards without a curse. Cut, drip, a lot of these look like what they talk about. A chat every is time a whole truth, and there he goes again, making me cry my opinions, weakening slow inclined proverbs until there is nothing but a negative graphic. Were you to ask me to waste some time with you, to make a request, I am not sure that I would do it. Were you to say pretty things and leave me to wonder if they have hidden depths or remain merely the skin? Were you to get what you wanted every time you read me, a bolt of white lightning striking a muddy brain repeatedly? Were you to begin to predict your reaction to meeting here, I would cry out, please, I can't stand it anymore, let me go. I will demand that words begin in an affect of truth, an excessively painful hammer misled so. A poetry. Into a brandy doorway falling forwards onto bathroom tiles to wake up with a mouthful of bloody ivory stripes in the hospital holding a shaded service of thinking close to the onset of broken. Discussion. A poetry reflected in a forgetful liquid, a living light tattooed on a central frame, a violent sweat engulfed an open steam cat wind set to emo croak rested, let staying free headlights protected. Who knows what I'm supposed to know? These days I kiss the bruises on the patterns of your wallpapers. I feel a hand caress my new tattoo. I look at you and you are here on paper. You are alert to every movement of the eyes on you in a ripple of glass and a rain-soaked doorway reflected sandy yellow upwards from a partly icy puddle on a midnight street in winter. Soaked the smell of pine smoke from my bruised fingers. Rose-wet leaves, the thicket night rain rested, the options on the face of poetry oddly altered. A film of events before, the intertitle adapted to the viewers. A television movie before nice events comes along sometimes. But Batman is based on a program made after the true story was based on a true story adapted by true viewers. Sometimes nice films program violence, sometimes with sex thrown in, adapted from television films. I am your boring continuity guy, informing real events, drawn from real life like a bucket of slop. Television is based upon, television 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 based upon. If anything should happen to you, I would go completely crazy and throw myself into life unlike ever before. If anyone were to try to harm you, given that harm is not so easy to define, I would cover myself in ashes and starve. If there were no one there to remind you, like there's always supposed to be something there to be reminding you. Death of an evening magnitude. Now that almost everything is illegal, Pooh Bear is in his pomp, snorting the pollen back from the bees. I am that asshole you've voted for. Now lick that rosebud referent, clean, make it the reference it could have been. And while you're down there, beg a little, please. I finally get Link Ray, by the way, an Egyptian army working for the IMF. Struck as my own personal director, lack of motivation, lack of pay, I sounded like lending before blood had dried. A pot of yogurt and a cow, and trying to imitate a chicken. Will you suck on my underground tits while I ginger the styrofoam hum? Flock, 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 flocking, flock, flocking, flock, above flocks, flock, become flock, 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 enough, flocking, flock, flock, critically suspended, pattern turning out, flocks becoming. Leadership is fleeting in this flocking, the wink of an eye, a collective reflexivity, if such activity can be conceived. Neighbours in flight transformed, phase-twisting reason to transition, becoming flock, flock becoming, flocks, flock becoming, flock, pattern turning out, flock becoming, affinity, systems dependent on coordination, millions of birds dependent on a viral scale, connecting patterns between neurons, physiognomies revealing the powered instance modelled and unknown, the people's microphone for Sean Bonney on the occasion of his launch of the Commons, is a system of amplification, rain, requiring no electricity, no thing, leaves. External divide or device whatsoever other than the human voice. So that what one person says is rain, amplified and attended to through leaves, an agency of collective reiteration. By these means, what one voice is, rain, that might remain objectified, is embodied by all who hear it, leaves, and amplified to those out of earshot. So that when I say, I mean what I say, rain, people attending repeat that phrase. Not really. Resounding those words for themselves, leaves. And when I say, you need to be alert, rain, that too is embodied and understood. The point of view shared, necessarily. I commend the people's microphone. Leaves. To us in our deliberations, our debate, rain, knowing that whatever is uttered leaves will be amplified and further heard in solidarity. Thank you.